Now for the snake, I'm using this Crafter's Secret 100% cotton yarn. I found this at Hobby Lobby, and I'm going to be pairing it with a 3mm crochet hook. I just wanted to give a little caveat. In the pattern, I call for DK weight yarn, a light worsted weight yarn, category 3. Now, if you do buy this exact same yarn just to get the same kind of color effect for the snake, I will point out that it is considered a worsted weight 4 medium. I'm just going to kind of overrule that. This is definitely much more like a DK weight yarn. It's kind of somewhere in between. So use your discretion. If you are using a different kind of yarn, I would recommend using a DK weight versus a 4 weight. But that is what I am using here. And it's just one of the deals with yarn. Every brand is a little bit different. Not all worsted weight yarn is treated equally. The other thing that I will tell you here in this tutorial, I am going to just be doing this head with you because the trickier part is learning how to crochet around a starting chain instead of around a magic circle. And that can be a little tricky if you've never done it before. The rest of the body is simply done in single crochet rounds around and around and around and around, some decreasing and some increasing in here, but really basic. And if I included all of this in the tutorial, it would be super redundant. So this pattern is available completely free on my blog. So go ahead and get that link in the description box and you can find the full pattern there. But as far as what I'm going to be doing with you today, I'm just going to be doing this head so I can show you the starting chain, and then also so I can show you how I work around this craft wire to make this snake actually hold its shape. And it is totally optional. You don't have to use craft wire, but it definitely adds something special to be able to shape the snake into fun different snaky positions. Okay, so I'm gonna get my yarn ready here, and then I'll also tell you right away, go ahead and make sure you have a couple stitch markers handy. The first time you work around a starting chain, it can be easy to lose your stitches at the beginning and the end of the row of that chain. So I highly recommend using stitch markers to make this step a lot easier. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and start by chaining 4. Make sure you chain loosely because you will be working around both sides of that chain. So 1, 2, 3, 4 stitches. I'm going to be working in the back bumps. So if you flip it over and you see these little bumps on the back, those are what I'm going to be working through. It makes the little mouth of the snake nice and tight and neat as your first row or your first round of this pattern. All right, so skipping that first chain from the hook, and in this second chain, we are going to place a single crochet increase. So we're going to do 2 single crochets in that stitch. And right away, go ahead and take your stitch marker and mark that first single crochet of that increase, okay? What's gonna happen here is when you start working back along the other side of the chain, this turning chain right here, that one that we skipped, that very first chain from the hook, it's gonna feel like you wanna work into that stitch, but you don't. That's just the turning chain. So mark your first stitch and you won't be confused as to what stitch to work into. Right, 1 single crochet into this next chain, and then into this last chain we'll do another single crochet increase. 1 and 2. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and mark that last stitch as well. Big fan of stitch markers to keeping your place. Right, so now what you're going to do when you're working around a chain is you're going to act like you're working in a round, and you're going to flip it over here, and now we're going to work alongside this side of the chain. So we're working in a circle. Just going to scooch that over a little bit. And now into this other side of the chain, we are going to make a single crochet increase. Just kind of ignore your slip knot there. Keep it to the back side if you can, so that you don't see it on the front of your snake, but no big deal. So single crochet increase, and then in this next stitch, you'll do 1 single crochet. You can see the color changing here. That's what I love about this yarn. And then in that last chain, we're going to place 2 single crochets. And that is round 1 of your snake, and that sets you up for a little bit more of a oval or square shape for the nose and the head, and then switching to the rounds when you get to the neck and the rest of the body. All right, so that's round 1. So you're going to have 10 stitches at the end of round 1. Get a little bit more yarn off my ball here. All right, so for round 2, we are simply going to place 1 single crochet in each stitch around, and you can take this stitch marker out for a moment. And as you place your first single crochet of the round, go ahead and mark that again right away, so you do not lose your spot as you're working in these rounds. Okay, 1 single crochet in each stitch around. I'm going to take this stitch marker out now, and I'm going to go ahead and just eliminate that one. Okay, and as you're working, just make sure you're working with the right side facing you. So you're going to see that it's starting to curve right now, making the nose. So just pop that towards you so that you are working with the right side facing out. Start curving quite a bit as you make your way around the edge. All right, so at the end of round 2, you'll again have 10 stitches around, and now you really see that little nose of the snake taking shape. All right, we're going to increase a little bit in this next round. So we're going to take out your stitch marker, and we're going to increase in this first stitch. So 2 single crochet in this stitch. And once I finish that increase, I'm going to replace my stitch marker in that very first stitch of that increase. We're going to single crochet in each of the next 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, we're going to increase in the next 2 stitches as we make our way around the bend here. So 2 single crochet in each of the next 2. 1 increase and 2 increases. Now we're going to single crochet in the next 3. And we are going to increase in our last stitch of this round. Okay, so just widening it up the head a little bit here. So at the end of round 3, you're going to have 14 single crochet around. Okay, so in the next round, we are going to increase again. So in our next stitch, we're going to place an increase. So 1, 2 stitches in that same place, and replace your stitch marker into that first single crochet of the increase. Okay, now we're going to single crochet 1 in each of the next 5 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right, now we are going to increase in the next 2 stitches. One increase, 2 increases. Okay, so we're widening the head a little bit here. Now we're going to single crochet in each of the next 5. All right, we've got 1 more stitch, and we're going to place an increase. So 2 single crochet into that stitch. All right, so that is the end of round 4. So you'll have 18 stitches after this round. For round 5, we are simply going to place 1 single crochet in each stitch around. So we're not going to be increasing in this round. Replace your stitch marker right away. Then you don't even have to count. You're just 1 single crochet in each stitch around. right. So at the end of round 5, you're still going to have 18 stitches. You can see the head shape coming together here. Okay, so for round 6, we're going to increase again. So taking out my stitch marker for a moment, we're actually going to place an increase in each of the next 2 stitches. I'm going to put my stitch marker right back in to mark that first single crochet of that increase. And now another increase. Okay, now I'm going to do 1 single crochet in each of the next 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to place 1 increase in each of the next 3 stitches. So 3 increases in a row. 1, 2, 3, and then a single crochet in each of the next 6. Okay, I've got 1 stitch left, and we're going to do an increase into that stitch to end our row, or round rather. Okay, so at the end of round 6, you're going to have 24 single crochet all the way around. All right, so for round 7 through 10, we are simply going to single crochet in each stitch around. So you're going to have 4 rounds of 24 stitches around. So I'm going to go ahead and get going on that, and I will meet you at the end. Do not forget to mark your first stitch of every round so that you don't lose your spot. Go ahead and do 4 rounds of just 1 single crochet in each stitch around, and I'll meet you at the end of that. Okay, I just completed round 10. So I've got 24 stitches around still, but I've got the shape of my head going on here. And at this point, we're going to do 1 round of decreasing to bring it in towards its neck. So right here, we're right here. We're going to go ahead and decrease in 1 round. And then what we're going to do is insert the safety eyes, and I'm going to talk about stuffing it and getting ready to start using your wire as you continue forward. So we're going to do round 11 now. So what we're going to do is we are going to decrease over the next 4 stitches. So we're going to do 2 decreases. So we're going to do 1 decrease over the next 2 and another decrease over the next 2 after that. We're going to do an invisible decrease, so using the front loops only. And then it's the first stitch of the round, so we're going to mark that. That's our first decrease. I'm going to do 1 more decrease here. All right, so it's starting to bring that shape in a little bit towards its neck. We're going to single crochet in each of the next 6. Now we're going to decrease over the next 6. So we're going to do 3 decreases. So over the next, these 2 for 1, these 2 for 1, these 2 for 1. So 3 decreases. Front loops only. 1. 2. 3. Okay, we're going to single crochet in the next 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You have 2 stitches left, and we're going to do 1 more decrease over those 2 stitches. Okay. So at the end of round 11, you'll have 18 stitches, and you'll really see the shape of the snake's head coming together. All right, so at this point, you're going to take your safety eyes, and you're going to insert them between rounds 4 and 5. and you're going to space them by 6 stitches over the top of the head. So you're going to see that the snake's eyes aren't exactly all the way down the sides. You can place them wherever you want, of course, but I placed mine kind of up a little bit towards the top of the head and spaced by 6 stitches in between. So in between rounds 4 and 5, you're going to put those safety eyes in. I'm not going to do it with you for the sake of this tutorial because I want to move on to showing you how to use the craft wire. All right, so what we're going to do from here forward is you are going to just be doing single crochets, decreases, increases for the rest of the body. So again, to complete the rest of the body, go ahead and access my free pattern on my blog. There's also paid versions if you want to be able to print the pattern. You can buy the PDF in my shop, on Etsy, on Ravelry. But what you would like, if you want to use your craft wire, use a gauge 14 or 16 craft wire. They just come in spools like this at craft stores. And what you're going to want to do, since they are very pokey and you don't want them to poke out the head, is take your wire and fold it. It's really easy and moldable. And you want to fold it over like this to create like a loop over the top. And then you're going to take some, I use this vinyl electrical tape to tape the heck out of the top of that and keep it in place and keep it nice and, you know, round and secure so that it doesn't poke through. So I just take my electrical wire and I just go around the head of this thing several times. It's really flexible tape, which is why I love it. It's vinyl. It's great for all kinds of craft related stuff. Okay, so wrapping, 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 making sure you're wrapping a lot over where you folded it. I probably go overkill, to be honest, but that's just the deal. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and tear that. Bring that down, cover the tip of that. All right, so that is what is going to go into the head of your snake. And so what you'll do at this point, you've got your eyes in. Remember, go ahead and do those first. And then you'll take a little bit of your stuffing and stuff the nose a little bit. You can stuff the nose maybe even all the way up to like half of the head if you want. And then what you'll do is you'll nestle this kind of down into the stuffing and just get it far enough in there to where it'll stay. And it's pretty easy to crochet around, but basically what I do is I just leave it coiled up like this. And as I crochet around and I approach the coil, I just slowly unravel it and stretch it out, continue to crochet around until I get to the coil. You'll find your flow and whatever's easiest for you, but that is how you work with the craft wire. So I'm gonna leave you, again, check out the free pattern and get this little snake done. It comes together super quick. If you have any questions at all, leave them in the comments of this video and I will make sure to get back to you and help you out wherever you need it. Thanks so much.